A helping verb is a verb that's part of a verb phrase, and it usually comes before the main verb, and it's literally helping out. So if you say, for instance, let's see here, I did swim, then swim is your main verb, and did is the helping verb. Together they form the verb phrase, and did here adds a little bit of emphasis. So that's one possible function of a helping verb. And in fact, to do, often to do, gives this kind of emphasis. So we have three main kinds of helping verbs. We have to be, to have, and to do. And then we also have this other category called modal auxiliaries. And these are helping verbs that create the mood of the verb phrase. Okay. We'll cover these in a separate video because they're a little bit complicated and a little bit different. But it is good to remember that all of these helping verbs can in fact be called auxiliaries, because auxiliary in Latin means helping. And so auxiliary is just a different name for a helping verb. Okay, so we have three main ones, and we'll focus on these in this video, ignoring the modal auxiliaries for now. These three main helping verbs, they can do quite a few different things. I'm just going to talk about two of their functions here. So we have tense. Okay, they can create elaborate tenses. They can also change the voice of the verb phrase. So these are just two of their functions to give a little bit of a sense of what they do. Let's look at tense first of all. If we say, for instance, I will have been swimming. I will have been swimming. Kind of an elaborate verb phrase here. All of these four words together form the verb phrase. Swimming is the main verb that we're working with here. And then will, have, and been, these are the helping verbs, as you can see. So if you want the technical term for this tense, you would call this the future perfect continuous. But the main thing to recognize for now is that we can use these helping verbs in fairly complex constructions to show the tense of the voice. We can also use them to create different voices. And in English we have the active and the passive voice. So the passive voice is usually formed with some version of to be here. Okay? And then we use the past participle. So, for instance, if you say, I was loved, then loved is the past participle, and was is the helping verb, and together they form the passive voice. So those are just a couple of functions of the helping verb. They can create the tense, and they can create the voice. The last thing to recognize here is that at times, the helping verb, or at least the verb phrase, is broken up. If you ask for a question, for instance, so if you say something like, were you swimming? Were you swimming? There we go. And then we add the question mark. You is the pronoun, and it's interrupting this verb phrase here, were swimming. Another time when the verb phrase is interrupted is with adverbs. Adverbs often come in the middle of a verb phrase. If you say, I was not swimming, I was not swimming. There we go. Then not is the adverb, and it's changing this verb phrase to the negative. So it interrupts the verb phrase, but don't let that bother you. You can still recognize the pattern here. So those are helping verbs. They help with the verb phrase.